Hi, I am Allie Camilletti, and you are listening to Snack Leadership. I will be talking about everything leadership, broken down into bite-sized pieces. You will hear what different leadership skills look like in organizations and how they can rise teams up or take them down. I help leaders build resilience and improve performance by bringing awareness to opportunity behaviors in my business. Spark your mindset. I provide leadership and sales coaching, as well as team building and guest speaking. My hope is for you to feel inspiration and to create a spark in your mindset. Today we are talking about gossip. Gossip, as defined by Humm Kombucha, is talking about someone else's experience that is not yours to share. I am talking with Michelle Mitchell, co-founder of Humm Kombucha, out of my hometown, Bend, Oregon. She is the primary keeper and driver of Humm's amazing culture and brand ethos within their staff-centric organization. She believes her mission is to bring love and light to the world and is instrumental in creating an air of positive energy and forging a culture of joy and freedom at Humm. She has completed 3 Ironman triathlons, studied Arabic extensively, found an English school in Cairo serving multiple orphans, and spent 3 years traveling around the world before settling in Bend. After having multiple companies reach out to me about their internal challenges with gossip in the workplace, I was brainstorming with Tiger's founder, Diane Crampton, on why I believed our society was struggling with this. She then shared with me Humm Kombucha's no gossip policy. I knew I had to have Michelle on this podcast. Get ready to hear what gossip is all about. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to talk about this piece of gossip and how it affects our cultures and your view with it on leadership.
Absolutely. Allie, thank you so much. I'm excited to talk about this too. I think it's super important.
Absolutely. And that's part of why I asked to talk to you about it, is because I'm hearing it so much in industries of all sorts right now.
Yeah.
So tell me, what made you embrace this whole concept of really a no gossip policy?
Yeah, it actually was something that when Jamie and I sat down at the kitchen table on day 1, we said, we're just not going to participate in gossip. And both of us had relatively healthy work environments prior, though I think that that was a bit more of an anomaly than what we witnessed around us. And so we just simply drew the line in the sand from the very, very beginning and said, we will not tolerate it. And every time our people go through their onboarding process, we talk about this. I kind of say it a little tongue in cheek at first. I'm like, listen, anybody that's been through middle school knows what gossip is. So let's just realign to that space. You've been on one side or the other of the table, and we're just not doing it here. So.
Wow. And how much actual onboarding focus goes into this? Is it something that like one person speaks to specifically and you spend some time on, or is it something that is like, here's the handbook?
No,
Read it.
so it is in the handbook for sure. But once we get a group of people that we have hired, call it, somewhere between 3 and 6 people from whatever departments, and I love it when they're from all different departments, then we have what's called HIP, and that's the Hummster Immersion Program. And it's a 3-week program where they meet with me for an hour once a week for 3 weeks. And we go through our core values, we go through our pillars, we go through our culture in action, which in that part of it is the no gossip policy. And the way we talk about our no gossip policy is really in conjunction with what to do when things go wrong. Who do you go to for help? So the way I tee it up is, hey, if you can go to the person that you are having a challenge with, and that can be a healthy conversation and you guys can work it out, awesome, go there first. If for whatever reason you can't get there, and then I go around the room, Joe, who do you go to? Paul, who do you go to? Holly, who do you go to? And first is their direct manager, and then it just kind of keeps going up the chain. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows at the end of the day, they can always come to me and talk to me about whatever it is they need help with, and I will get them the help they need, but that it's not okay to just yip to somebody else that really can't do anything about it, and then puts them in an awkward position as well.
Yeah. So, what have you watched in your own culture with this no gossip policy?
I think it just, it really, I don't know if it's just the no gossip policy, it's our culture overall, but this is a part of it. It just really facilitates taking care of one another and having each other's back. I mean, you don't talk poorly about each other. Nobody likes that. It never, ever works. So, and people know that, we've been walking around the planet long enough to experience how that doesn't work. So people have had real life experiences, whether they've been in a professional setting or a middle school playground, but they really understand the detriment of that. And 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 because we built it from day one, when we had 2 people, and then we had 4, and then we had 12, and now we have nearly 100, that has, I think, probably made it easier than to try to backpedal and, start with 100 people and say, oh my gosh, everybody's talking now, what do we do? It's just been a part of our growth from day one. Not to say it's impossible to correct that. It is possible to correct that. It's just harder, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And why I think that we're hearing more about gossip across the board, I really do believe it is that false form of connection that Brene Brown speaks to.
Yeah,
And we are struggling with connection.
agreed. Agreed.
And so how I'm just going to touch on this a little bit. How do you bring connection into your workplace to help with that too?
Yeah, that's something that we talk about quite a bit as well on the tails of COVID and having been out of office for a while. Our production facility has continued to run, thank goodness. We haven't had to take down days. We've been able to maintain a healthy work environment. But the office facility came in, it's all one facility. The office team came in and out based on the COVID rules for the last couple of years. So um, how do we create connection? So some of the things we do is every single month we have birthday lunch. So we have a group of culture keepers every quarter, and they're volunteers. There's 4 to 5 people who volunteer their time on top of their day jobs to do like rad things for all the rest of the Humpsters. And those are our culture keepers. So they do birthday lunches every month. We do happy hours once a month starting in the summer. Actually, there's just starting up. We do just different, like for our all staff meetings, we dedicate half of it to a team building exercise, whatever that might be. We now have, we'll do different outings together. Those are not necessarily the whole company. A lot of times those are more individual teams, but they're the ones that work together consistently. So we just take time to get to know one another and to just see each other for who we are.
That is so wonderful. And I'm so glad you spoke to, yeah, you can have the whole company, which is great, but you still need to drill down to those specific departments.
Yes.
So that you can function in that cohesive, really service level that you're looking for internally, because we know that it'll spread out when we start there with ourselves.
Absolutely. 100%.
So I have to ask, have you had a situation where somebody was breaking the policy?
Yeah. I mean, yes, and it's just quickly addressed. Like we hear about it and we immediately address it. Now, today it looks different than it did when, 12 years ago, 13 years ago when we started, but it's really just meeting it head on. It's, hey, we heard about this. I get it. Everybody, we're all human. We all make decisions that sometimes are better than others. Got it. But we need to address this. This is not tolerated. We'll give them a warning, but if past that, there's a line in the sand that it won't work.
Has anyone been fired for it?
It's so interesting that I can't think of a specific example. However, I do remember doing an interview with Jamie a while ago, and it was talking about how, we have a room. It's our meditation room. It's also sweetly named the recombobulation room. If you're
Love it.
discombobulated, you go in and you get recombobulated. But we have that room, and it's like, listen, they'll meditate, they'll spread aromatherapy and crystals all around the plant. But if you gossip, they will fire you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I suppose is true. We just don't butt up against it. Like I can only think of a couple examples, and like I said, we just met it immediately and head on, and that was that.
Which just speaks to leadership of how it should be handled quickly,
Yeah.
right? And very direct in that sense.
Yep.
So, in professional settings, how do you handle it when you encounter gossip, whether it's been at previous positions or just in different professional settings?
I think the first thing for me personally is to check in with me and make sure that I'm not jumping into it. I'm not contributing to it in any way. And it would depend on the situation then that I was in. Like here, if I hear it, I immediately address it, and that's that. And I've been here for the last 13 years in the company that I was at previously. I was very much very autonomous. There wasn't a lot of chit chat. So I guess I just take that out into more social settings. And at the end of the day, again, I think it just depends on my relationship with the person or people that I am with in the moment as to how I show up. But the first is a check-in for myself, making sure that I'm clear on me and my contribution,
Yeah.
or lack thereof.
One of the things that I have noticed, even for myself, as I started to really look at this false connection,
Mm-hmm.
because I think as we've aged, we've all experienced these different pieces, right? And that's how it comes up eventually if you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. I don't
Yeah.
think that's really who I want to be. And one of the things I noticed is that I could feel it in my body.
Yes.
And when we look at gossip, I mean, I can also say it's just talking badly about somebody potentially as well.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in hospitality, which I work a lot in, there's those challenging people that come to us and then they're gone. And all of a sudden, you're venting
Yep.
to the person next to you of like, and I encourage people, I'm like, just kind of check in with where you're feeling that in your body when you're saying those words.
Yep.
Just for them to notice first that it's not only just unhealthy in general, it's like for our own bodies, it's not a healthy practice.
Absolutely. I think that's great, Allie. I think that the more awareness the more tools we can offer for people to have awareness of when they're out of integrity with themselves, the better off we all are. Because, I have a middle school daughter now. She's in 6th grade. And
Oh boy.
yeah, she's just scratching the surface of this, and there's this one girl that she has such a hard time with, and she's trying to work it out how to be friends with everybody, but not really wanting to hang out with this person. And, it's the tool of being able to check in with yourself and the actions that are happening outward, whether it's your words or again actions, how they feel inwardly is a really good compass as to how you want to show up, how you want to handle it.
Yeah. So, who would you say is a great leadership mentor that has helped you in your journey?
You mentioned Brene Brown. I definitely listen to a lot of her podcasts and have read most of her books. I really lean into her a lot. Martha Beck is another author that I just love. Her book recently, The Way of Integrity, is one that super resonated with me. There's a woman, Byron Katie, who I did a 10-day workshop with her 15 years ago. And one of the things she said that I really that actually probably helped initiate this no gossip policy at Humm is that she said, there's three kinds of business in this world. There's your business, there's somebody else's business, and there's God's business. And you can call it God, you can call it, the universe, you can call it the planet. It doesn't matter what you call it, but if it's raining outside, there's nothing you can do about that. That's the business of the universe. Somebody is saying something you don't like, there's nothing you can do about that. They're having their experience. You have to be able to allow other people to have their experience. It doesn't mean you need to participate in it. It doesn't mean you need to like it. It doesn't mean you need to be complacent and not have a conversation about it. It just means that they're having their experience. And then you have your own business. And she says, anytime you're in somebody else's business or God's business, who's in your own? Who's in yours? And I thought, well, that's pretty profound. That, and she always says, anytime you're arguing with reality, you lose, but only 100% of the time, which I find to be true.
Oh, those are great. I mean, that takes us right into a quote, but you just mentioned a couple.
Yeah, those are ones that I really, really love. I mean, there's a lot of quotes that I that have come in and out from time to time, but those are ones, especially with surrounding gossip, that I think are really clear, because the way we define gossip here is that anytime you're talking about somebody else's experience that's not yours to share, and that's really about being in somebody else's business. And sometimes that's it's not even talking poorly about somebody, it's just sharing something that is not yours. Yours. Be in your business, stay in your lane, have compassion for those that are beside you. Stay in your lane, man. Like that's it.
Yes, and I would say it kind of goes along with that thought of like everybody has their own journey.
Totally.
And you can listen to them in their journey. You can maybe throw out some different ways of thinking about things, but it's their journey.
Absolutely. I mean, nobody likes it when somebody else is in, like for me, no, I don't like it when somebody's in my business and telling me how I should or shouldn't do my journey. It's my journey. Why would I want to do that to somebody else? Like, it doesn't feel good ever.
I was having a conversation recently and my friend's like, why didn't you stop me? I said, because I felt like maybe you needed to hear the words. And she's like, huh, valid. Because, right, so many times when we're like kind of giving advice and we're not staying in our lane, sometimes it's what we really need to be listening to ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that, Allie, because there's got to be grace in this as well. We're not going to hit the ball out of the park every single time. Like, I certainly have found myself in situations where I'm talking about somebody else's experience, and almost always, I'm sure I can think of an example when I was in 6th grade where it wasn't so, but like almost always I do it with the best intentions. I'm not trying to purposefully be mean. It's what you were talking about at the beginning. It's this connection, right? Sometimes we do this just wanting to connect with another person. Okay, fine. And just recognize the ripples from it. So I think that there has to be some grace. There just has to be some grace in all of us having this human experiment that we're all going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I couldn't agree more. I know we started off with gossip, but I think in the end, it's just really about being the person you want to be and who you want to, put yourself out there as.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love it. All right. I like to close with, what is your favorite snack?
Oh my gosh, this is very hard for me. I knew you were going to ask me this question, Allie. And first of all, I will tell you that I'm a Gemini. So anytime you say favorite, it's tricky because there's at least 2. But I will try. Okay, my favorite just snack is a really dark piece of just amazing chocolate, like 85% or darker. I love a piece of dark chocolate. But then my favorite, like, snack is Ben & Jerry's half-baked ice cream because it has all of the things.
All right, you have to tell us Because I can't remember
Okay.
what is in.
It's got a chocolate chip cookie dough, and it's got brownie bites, but there's no like marshmallows and sprinkles and stuff. It's just the chocolate chips, chocolate chip cookie dough, and the brownie bites and vanilla ice cream. I don't really have
Love
that
it.
snack very often because it turns into maybe more than a snack. So I'll just stick with the dark chocolate.
So good. So good. Michelle, I really can't thank you enough for just helping everybody kind of break it down and understanding what it looks like to have a culture that really doesn't allow gossip.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time and your expertise.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for reaching out. I really enjoy this. I super appreciate it. Thanks for the work that you're doing in this space because I really, really do believe it's important.
All right. Have an awesome day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you for tuning in to Snack Leadership. I hope you felt inspiration, motivation, and felt your mindset spark. Snack Leadership is recorded and produced by myself, Ali Camilletti, and music by Shireen Amini.